this year is coming to an end, and as an agency owner, I want to actually prepare for 2026 to be my most successful year possible, since we actually, by the time I'm recording this video, which is the 16th, we have only like 2 weeks left to prepare for 2026. And if you haven't done it already, I suggest just to go over this video with me, and I'm going to show you the 9 steps that I'm going to take to actually prepare for 2026 to have the most likelihood I'm going to succeed in, okay? But first of all thing I would be doing is just kind of step back from the business and let my mind work, okay? Because what I mean by that is because I had a really successful year this year, right? 2025 was really successful for me. I had amazing results from my clients, right? I made a good amount of money, which is, obviously a good thing when you're doing business. And what I want to, I guess, talk about more and just, I guess, discount for me or like other agency owners I speak with. Usually what happens, because as a business owner, you are kind of in a routine trying to, scale the business, make it work. And I don't know which stage you are in, whether you're just starting out, got a few clients, got a bunch of clients, depends on where you are in the stage. But it still happens at every stage where you kind of just zoom in so much into the business of doing the work, doing the service delivery, providing good results to clients, communicating with clients, sales and everything, managing the team, that in the end you just kind of forget about the business and you need to just kind of step back from the business and just think about the problems, okay? Think about the problems, think about the good things as well, because not everything is bad in business, right? It may seem like it at some days, some months, some weeks, but in the end, you just gotta step back and think what's wrong, what can I be improving on, and that kind of thing, right? And since we have these 2 weeks of the holidays where in terms of me, I own an outbound agency. I'm not gonna do doing much outreach, right? Especially in the Christmas week. So I just want to step back and think what I could improve on and what could be my next steps to go into 2026. All right, just take these 2 weeks to actually think rather than just do it. Okay. Now, other thing is actually look over the metrics and find the main bottleneck that is stopping me from growth. Okay. Because as an agency owner, I think you need to track absolutely everything, right? So this is a sheet I have where I can track financial, operations, account management, sales, and there are like a bunch of other stuff that comes into place. Okay. And what I mean by that is once I have like specific metrics on screen, like whether it be outbound, sales, finances, whatever, I need to see numbers as a business owner, and I need to find out what is my main constraint that is stopping me from, getting better results. Okay. That's why I like to track absolutely everything. So this is my monthly KPI dashboard where I track, for example, average percentage margin on client hours worked. You can see basically not all of them could be like fully specific, but I know based on if I look at my finances or whatever, I can calculate which is working or not, which is working really well. If everything, for example, in operations is in red, that means I need to work on my operations. Okay. So right now, once you see the metrics, that it be outbound or wherever, you actually need to find what could be the biggest constraint that kind of stopped you during 2025. Okay. Now, the other thing is finding where I should actually focus 100% of my effort into you know just to have the most leverage. Okay, I don't know how I wrote this sentence, but basically once I have the metrics right, I see what is my bottleneck, and what I want to do for 2026 is actually find where should I focus, like full on focus, so I could really, and by focus I mean it could be, client acquisition, content, automation, sales, recruiting, service delivery, or anything else. And I focus mainly like you can fully focus 100% of the time until some other place of the business, right, starts, to go down or, hurting. Okay. So for example, if you're not getting enough clients and you need, if you're not getting appointments, that means nothing else in the business matters because you're not getting cash flow, you're not getting clients, and what you need is need appointments. So you gotta focus 100% of the things just on getting appointments, right? Once you're getting tons of appointments coming in, you don't have the bottleneck of bringing in appointments, then you can focus on other things. Maybe the appointments you're getting are, good, but you don't know how to sell people. Then you can focus 100% of your effort into sales, right? I wouldn't be doing, 10 things at a time trying to focus on everything, because if you focus on everything, then you just go south and you don't know what's happening. I just rather fix one thing, then go to the other to see what happens there, fix the other thing and go step by step by step, right? Don't do 10 things at a time because it's not gonna be great for you. Okay. Other thing I'll do is look back over the winning frameworks, offers, etc. I use to understand what works for me. Okay, so this comes into place for me in terms of outbound, could be campaigns, copies, scripts, whatever. If you're running an advertising agency, it could be as well copies, landing pages, as well as images, videos, whatever. And you just gotta look at it, right? I have a bunch of systems that I've tested out. For example, I have a campaign which I got a 3.5 reply rate. 50% of them are positive, and this campaign worked really well. So what I can do, I can go back into this campaign. I'm gonna look at it. What happened? Why did it work? Was it because of my personalization? Was it because of my leads? Was it because of my copy, of my offer, or whatever? And once I have the bidding frameworks, I know I can write them down or whatever I want to do with them. And I know coming into 26 that, for example, if I get a new client or I want to test things out for myself, there's this type of framework, this type of offer, and this type of lead source works really well. So I can do more of them. Okay, just do more of them. So I can have again the biggest likelihood of success in 2026. Okay. Then what I want to do is actually plan out campaigns for my clients, from getting leads to getting the copies right, because again, in my case, for an outbound agency, I need leads to actually send things out, and I need to actually create campaigns so my clients can get results and everything will be prepared going into 2026. Okay, because again, over the holiday season, over the week or two, right after New Year's, I'm gonna launch the campaigns again. But in the meantime, for Christmas, they're gonna be paused, and by the time we get into 2026, I want to go ahead and launch the campaigns again without any stops. Okay, and if I haven't prepared any of those campaigns or leads, this means I'm gonna work more, and my clients are not gonna be happy because not everything is gonna be launched. Okay, so I want to be prepared for absolutely everything, and even for the worst. Cool. So also want to see what else I can systemize with software or by hiring people with tasks. Okay, what I mean by this is my main automation software is N8N, right? For just like using automation, for example, this is an automation to verify leads, right? With Million Verifier and Trikit. Okay, so this way I automate stuff. I don't have to do it manually. I just click a button and everything gets done for me. Or I can find like labor, for example, with Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph, or like LinkedIn jobs. And I can find people who can actually help me, for example, with appointment setting in my case, sourcing leads, managing clients, or whatever, or like doing sales. I guess sales is a bit more of a trickier stuff, trickier, role to find, but everything is possible. So I want to just, I guess, look back at my business, see what are my constraints, right? Because as a business owner, my task is to delegate stuff, and I want to find out what is my bottleneck, and maybe just by hiring someone, this could, completely dismiss my bottleneck and help me out in the meantime. So I would have more time to grow the business, and the person working for me can actually help me out. Okay, maybe you'll not find the person in the holiday season because everyone is on the holidays, but I can have prepare the job listings or whatever to find those people. Or for automations, you can hire someone and or do it yourself and learn anytime, which I feel like is an amazing skill to learn. Just by automate stuff, you don't have to be the best in the world to do it, but just automating some minimal tasks for yourself is really, really, really helpful. Okay. Now, again, if I find something to automate, I'm gonna save a lot of time, and in the meantime, I'm gonna either save money, time, or just less headaches, which everyone loves. So also what I need to do is see what personal skills I need to improve on, so my agency scales with me, right? As everyone, I don't know if you hear this saying, or it's not a saying, that's at least what I what I heard before, is your business grows as much as you do. Okay, because if you don't know how to sell, and don't have a salesperson, then you're not gonna sell anyone, right? Because you need to learn about sales. So you need to improve on your personal skills, whether it be finances, or do you have two finances? I don't know. Forget about it. Client comms, task delegation, sales, finding your labor, time management, personal health, patience, team management, right? There could be a lot of personal skills that you can improve on. And in the end, by improving those, you could actually grow the business because for example, you understand your finances more, you see where you can invest more, uh, delegate more money, for example, to better labor, to A players instead of B players, right? Because I'd rather have one A player than five B players. So you gotta, test out. Do you want client comms? Are you not communicating with your clients enough? Task delegation, for example, you're taking too much task for yourself, which you're working too much, you don't know what to do, your brain, you get tired really well, really well, and everything that you do is not done with 100%, and you just, do a lot of stuff. Sales, maybe you're not closing enough people, maybe you're not, getting enough clients, finding good labor, right? Again, like I mentioned, I'd rather have one A player than finding five B players. Time management, right? Everything is all over the place, your calendars are all messy. Personal health, right? You're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, which means you don't have enough energy through the day. And in the end, your work suffers. Patience, for example, with outbound, people need to have patience because not everything is done within a day, right? Rome wasn't built in overnight, okay? And the other thing is build an actual execution plan with priorities so I wouldn't bounce around, right? What happens is I actually just kind of write down all of my notes, what I want to do. I think kind of like a sit down. I like to sit down in the evening and just write all of everything I want to, kind of sort of like achieve or like do, but not on a results-based level, but kind of what I need to do to reach results, okay? So for example, I have tasks, and once I have everything written down right here, I just kind of number those tasks to which is the most important, second most important, and third most important, okay? Because as I mentioned earlier, you want to focus on one thing and one thing only at a time, because this will have the most leverage in getting me the best results, okay? And by most important, I mean which has like the most leverage, right? Leverage. My writing is really bad, as you can see. But leverage, I want to have as much leverage. For example, if you're not booking appointments and you want to have sales, make money, then what it means, if you figured out how to book a bunch of appointments, this means you're going to start getting a lead flow, you're going to make sales, and you're going to make money. I feel like that's the most important leverage point as an agency owner if you're not getting appointments and not getting enough clients, okay? Or maybe you are, again, getting a bunch of appointments, but you're not closing anyone. This means the most important thing you have to focus on is actual sales, right? Whether it be you, whether it be you hiring someone, you just gotta find what's the most important thing you have to focus on, fix that, and go to the next issue, fix that, and go to the third issue, and fix that. Okay, and this is obviously not like a one-time thing. This is an ongoing cycle. You just have to. You could do it every month, every week, or whatever, and just focus on what you need to fix in the business. Okay, and I guess my most important thing is not actually focusing on the outputs, rather doing enough inputs consistently to reach the output inevitably. Okay, what I mean by that, and the good words of Alex Hormozy, which is volume negates luck. Okay, what I mean by that, if you're doing enough, if you're putting in enough effort and you're putting enough reps into the whole system or whatever you want to do and focus on, in the end, it means you're gonna get the result inevitably. Okay, if you're sending, tens of thousands of cold emails every day, you're gonna book at least, in the possible worst case scenario, at least one appointment a day. Okay, what this means, you're gonna book appointments, you're gonna make sales either way, right? If you're getting 100 appointments a week and you only close one of them, you're still booking appointments and you're still making sales, right? The business is growing. Once you have a lot of stuff going on, you're putting a lot of inputs, reps, and then you actually start learning more about the systems, and the results get better, 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 better. Okay. Or for example, if your only focus is on getting revenue and making money, but sometimes it happens that there's like let's call it a bad month in terms of revenue. But once you look back at it, you can actually find that, hey, I improve on this thing, for example, on sales really much. Just give an example. I'm focusing a lot of sales because I feel like it's an easier example to go over because everyone's situation is kind of different. But with sales, for example, you had 50 sales call and no one, closed. No one closed, just no one closed. So you may think of it like, God damn, I mean, nothing worked. I didn't make any money this month. I had 50 sales calls, am I shit at sales? Or like, what's the wrong thing? But think of it in this way, for example, if you weren't doing those 50 sales calls and at the start you had zero sales experience and at the end you had 50, sales calls done, but no one closed. Which point are you at that you think is better for you? The one that you didn't close any and you didn't have any sales calls, or the one you didn't close any but you had 50 sales calls? I think it's better to be with the 50 sales calls because you actually had experience, and I think you are way, 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 way better than where you started. Okay, so I want you to think in the inputs rather than outputs. Actually, don't focus on the revenue because revenue is the end result. and you can't sometimes control it, I want you to focus on things that you can actually control, right? If you're learning a skill, for example, doing a bunch of sales calls and you're getting in the reps, and then you start getting experience, and this way you learn sales. Okay. Same with appointment booking, same with managing a team, same with hiring, right? Maybe you hire 10 people, all of them are bad, but the 11th person you hired is a really, really amazing, A player. Just because the other 10 people that you hired were really bad, you got the experience to, kind of burnt you, let's call it, and now you have the experience to actually find good people. So focus on the inputs rather than the outputs. And with all of that, right, we go into 2026, right? Everything is awesome. You have your plan built out, right? It comes from the start to everything, right? Just kind of seeing the whole year overall, how it worked, what didn't work, getting the KPIs, right? The KPIs, then seeing what sort of things, what is your bottlenecks, getting your metrics right, setting up the campaigns for your clients, hiring or like automating stuff for yourself, build your personal skills, right? Write down your notes and create an execution plan. Then just do a lot of input and don't focus on the output that much. And then you'll be having a successful 2026. Okay. So I appreciate you. Hopefully I made it clear what I'll be doing, and hopefully you can, add some value to your own process over these 2 weeks of the holidays. And yeah, if you want, you can join my Discord group community. Just a free community. I've just started it. It will be the first link down below. Just click it, join it, and you can ask me any questions around outbound, around your agency, finances, or whatever, and I'll be able to help you out. Okay? So I appreciate you, and have an amazing holiday. Bye bye.